He's an ESPN pundit. He's an Emmy Award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yay!
Whoa, where are you at?
The hell?
I'm in Baltimore, my friend. This is the Baltimore skyline behind me. I found this on Google Images.
I like that. Good play. Pay homage to the Baltimore folks. Have you been down to Jimmy's Famous Seafood? I don't think it's in this shot, but it should be.
It is not. Jimmy has been very good to me and my family in the past. We get some packages from time to time whenever you talk positively about the Ravens, but we have not been there yet. I love Jimmy's Seafood, but I also love being in Baltimore. I just took a walk around the Inner Harbor this morning. Fresh air, beautiful. We got a great one tonight, dude.
Okay, so you say you talk positive about Baltimore. Jimmy's Famous will take care of you. Tonight, are you talking positive about the Baltimore Ravens? How do you feel about this evening's game?
Yeah, this evening's game is a really good one. It's a great one that we have in week 3 on Monday night, but really it's between two teams that silenced a lot of people after week 1. And I look at this one, to me, if you're Lamar Jackson, you're one of the best Monday Night Football quarterbacks of all time. He's never thrown an interception on Monday Night Football. He's 7-2. He's got this great record. He's also 24-2 against the NFC. Nothing is going to be accomplished tonight by beating the Detroit Lions in week 3. It's not like you're going to look at your resume and say, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do this, he didn't do this, but he beat the Lions in week 3 of the 2025 season. That said, when you're looking at what the Bills are doing up there in the AFC East, and you're looking to hold serve, and you know how important home field is in these playoffs, I think this game does matter in the big picture. And I also think that they're looking to make a statement on national TV after giving up that loss in the way the defense played against Buffalo in week 1.
Go ahead, AJ.
Schrags, what about this Detroit Lions team? I believe you came on this program and said you think there's a chance that they do not make the playoffs this year, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think's on the line for them tonight, and how do you think they're going to look?
Yeah, I went from being like Mr. Lions, everyone loving me in Detroit because I was on this ride, until now being public enemy number 1. The truth of the matter was I thought the NFC was loaded at the top, and I wasn't sure how this team would respond to the loss of Ben Johnson and obviously Aaron Glenn. Well, week 1, I'm not saying I look like a genius, but there were serious questions. Week 2, they shut me up, and they shut a lot of pundits up, and that offense looked awesome. And it looked like the Ben Johnson offense. That said, if they go out there tonight and they don't do that, and now we're 1-2, you're in a bit of a hole. What they got in their favor, though, was that the Browns silenced the Packers last night. And, of course, we know that the Vikings have a tough trip to Dublin, and they're going to have to go up against the Steelers. Like, this might be one of those years where it's an 18-week season, and it's going to come down to the final week. I didn't have the Lions in the playoffs at the start of the season. If they play like they did last week against Chicago, I'll look like an idiot come January.
Absolutely. A lot of us will, for a lot of the things we say throughout the entirety of an NFL season. Last year, it came down to the last week, obviously, between the Vikings and the Lions to decide who was number 1 in the NFC or who was going to get 5th place in the NFC, which almost changed the rule because of how great that NFC North is. Excited to see what Lions team we have tonight. You talked about the Packers losing to the Browns. This Browns defense may be generational in this entire thing whenever it's said and done. What they're able to do at home, plus what they're able to do to everybody. This Packers team was the hottest team in the NFL. We thought maybe Packers might go on and win it all because of who they were at the beginning of the season. Micah was the perfect little kickstart to an entire operation of greatness, and then they go and have to deal with this. How do you feel about the Browns, and what do you think the Browns look like for the rest of the year?
Well, here's the other part of it. Packers didn't play since Thursday. So the Packers had like 10 days to prepare. They're riding high. There's talk of undefeated season. And then they commit 14 penalties. 14 penalties. Looked absolutely out of sorts. And that's a credit to this Cleveland defense. I mean, if you watch the Browns, it's basically if the offense doesn't screw things up, they're going to be in every game. Last week, the offense screwed things up. There were turnovers galore, and then the Ravens were able to capitalize late, and that score got out of control. But if you look at weeks 1 and 3, like this Browns defense, what they did to Joe Burrow in week 1, I mean, Joe Burrow, they had 7 yards in the second half of week 1. And then to see this offense that was lighting it up the first 2 weeks just go completely silent. And Mason Graham, like rookie, all over the place. And then on offense, Judkins gets in the game, 94 yards. If the Browns don't screw it up on offense, they're going to be in every single game this season, and they're going to be a pain in the ass to play because that defense is so good.
Nightmare for the AFC North is Cleveland Browns. Just late in the season. Gonna have to get, who do you have to get through? The Browns. Are they going to make the playoffs? Nah. All right, Steelers should win that one. Steelers fans are like, excuse me, do you know who they paid $40 million a year to on the defensive side of that ball? Mm-hmm. He's a game record. He will take shit over whenever he wants, and let alone them blocking a kick late in special teams and then going on to hit another kick. It's like, is there a couple different phases that are elite for the Cleveland Browns right now? And then are they going to be able to figure out how to make that offense? Is it the future time, or is Joey Flacco just going to be the guy that rides the Browns to the playoffs for another year? Now, let's talk about a team that maybe had a little bit of success, a little bit of an upside, also a big-time contract to a head coach. Go ahead, D-Butch.
Yeah, talk about the future. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, they look good against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what's your thoughts on that? Is it more the Cowboys just absolutely stinking on defense, or maybe is Caleb Williams possibly turning the corner here with Ben Johnson?
I think it's a combination of both. I think the Cowboys are horrendous on defense right now, and they have to figure their stuff out. But let's not take anything away from Caleb and from Ben Johnson. Look, that team bought in on Ben Johnson's entire summer of dewiring them and then rewiring them into what he wanted them to be. In the first 2 weeks, it didn't look like that was going to be anything, and yet they stayed committed to it, and it all came to fruition yesterday. I love the fact that you saw DJ Moore in the backfield 3 or 4 times. I love the fact that they ran that weird-looking flea flicker. I love the fact that they gave up 0 sacks. That means that this team stuck with themselves and they didn't come unraveled after that Week 2 loss to Detroit. It was so personal with Ben Johnson going back to Detroit. I think we underestimated how much the Lions wanted to beat him and how much that Lions team was hearing the noise after that Week 1 loss to the Packers. To come out Week 3 with Brady and Burkhardt on the call, national audience, and to be the ones to actually light it up and do it with the way that the Lions played last year. I mean, Caleb looked great yesterday. Great. And there was some signs of greatness in those first 2 weeks. You have to feel energized as a Bears fan. At least this thing is not hopeless, and they're going to be on the right track. They committed to Ben Johnson's offense, and it proved to be working just fine once they got things going.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, obviously there's a different conversation happening for them, and that's rude because maybe the Chicago Bears team did find it, and they're actually a good team. Caleb Williams had his best day on the field. In the locker room, he almost messed up the first ever win for the head coach thing. Almost missed him with the throw and called it the wrong
First
title.
home win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole thing, but hey, didn't know he was focused on the game.
That's right.
Wasn't focused on the celebrations with Ben Johnson. Also like the fact that Ben Johnson's thing is good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Because I've been actually saying that my entire life.
Really?
Yes.
Is that like a high school thing? I never heard that. And he rattled that thing off, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna write that down." But you knew that one.
Yeah, I guess I would assume somebody said that one time around me, and I was like, yup, bars.
Who said that?
Yeah, I don't know who said it. And I think I've always just said it because it's just, it's a lot. But then if you listen to it, it's like, oh, that's a pretty good little saying. And I love that Ben Johnson is just taking that to the entire team. I like that any coach is kind of using that as their rally cry. And if they nail it in there, let's go.
Hell yeah, look, he's an absolute maniac. And you know what? I may be in the minority. I like Caleb's post game. Hey, man, he was hyped. He was excited. First home win.
He almost missed him.
Yeah, don't give him an easy pass.
Oh, you're right.
Show ass up there.
Maybe he was
high point.
He was impersonating the flea flicker, the toss back to him.
Yeah, and we remember from last year. He's a big hip hooray guy. So you gotta let him kind of grow with the celebrations.
First victory at all. And good little touch
Casual.
there. I appreciate it. It looked like they got along too, which I think is a big conversation. Caleb and Ben getting along, showing respect, I think is good. Maybe the Bears are on the up and up. Congrats, Ben. Congrats, Ben. Let's talk about maybe on Don. Go ahead, Tone.
Yep, the Bears looked really, really good against Cowboys. You know who else looked really, really good against Cowboys? Russell Wilson. And then he looked like shit in weeks 1 and 3. So when are we going? When are we and your New York Giants going to Jaxson Dart strikes? Because this was not it last night. I mean, there was many interceptions. There was balls into the 18th row. There was balls into the locker room. How do you feel about your Giants in the quarterback position?
The interesting thing is the offensive line actually played pretty well yesterday. So this was the big excuse was, well, the offensive line sucks. Anybody behind that offensive line is going to struggle. Offensive line, they did their job. I know Andrew Thomas only played about 25 snaps, but he and Marcus Mebo kept that defensive line from Russ. It was unfortunate that they couldn't score there in the red zone at the end, and those 4 passes were what they were. There's never going to be a good time to put Jaxson Dart in. You and Adam Schefter, you guys went over the schedule in the first hour of this show. There's not going to be an opportune time where, hey, this makes sense. This is the moment. This is the window. What I took away from last night's broadcast, and we talked so much last week about the value of a production meeting. Well, Chris Collinsworth was absolutely glowing about how the Giants are talking about Jaxson Dart behind the scenes. That they go into the facility and he's like, the way they're talking about this Dart. So they obviously know internally that Dart is trending upward. The question is, when do you want to throw him into the mix? I look at that schedule, there's not going to be a great time. So this is going to be on Brian Dable, and it's going to be his decision. I think Russ has played fine. I think, obviously, if you look at what happened last night, they didn't get the plays they needed in the red zone, but they were moving the ball up and down the field, and Scatterboo looked like he can play. The truth of the matter is they're going to have to put Dart in at some point if they continue to lose just to salvage this fan base. And that's not a knock on Russ. The fan base wants to see him, and if you listen to Collinsworth last night, they're absolutely giddy in that building over what they're seeing from Jaxson Dart in practice. So at this point, you're 0-3. I know it's not ideal to play the Chargers next week in that defense, which is unbelievable, but it might never be ideal. And in the NFL, there's a lot of good defenses. So let's roll the dice.
Well, you go down to New Orleans, too, maybe with a game of experience, and maybe be able to pick up one that you might be able to win down in the South, too. Let that heat hit you a little bit like your Jaxson Dart. Crowd, you talk about salvaging the fan base. Boos for us. Cheers for Jaxson.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just like
tough.
The fans are almost like, well, what do we even draft the guy for? You know, and this isn't the first time this has happened. This has certainly been on multiple occasions where the fans go, hey, we're done with this guy. We would like to see this guy. This is what we did. Will Daboll and Shane say, all right, let's go with it? I'm excited. Guys iced out every week.
Great.
Put him in a few times, Pat, and it's basically like Jaxson Dart's in, and then he lowers his shoulder and gets absolutely crushed by a defensive lineman. You're like, no, that's not what let's let him throw the ball.
You were happy he's on, yes, but not.
Like, we like that, but I don't need him as a battering ram with his head down, like running into a 350-pound guy. I would also add the Giants are the only team in football that has a kicker be hurt in pregame 2 years in a row, and this thing was crazy, and this happened last year against Washington. So you get Art Stapleton tweeting that, hey, wait, in pregame warmups, Graham Gano's hurt. They're going to have to go to, Jamie Gillen again, and the Scottish Hammer is going to have to kick, and then it's blocked right away. And that kick would have been blocked.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is like Bad News Bears stuff when it happens year after year after year, and that's what the Giants fans are booing about. Like when we've got a league where there's guys kicking 64-yard field goals in their sleep, the Giants can't even have a kicker dressed. It's understandable to be frustrated on national TV when that's the case.
I think that's what Daboll said. And if you watched Bruce Brown's Twitter account last night, as I was riding alongside the Giants.
Yeah.
Remember, I picked Bruce Brown and the points with the Giants. Why not here? I just watched what they did with the Cowboys. That was a lot closer. They're 0-2, but
Yeah, exactly.
They can kind of go another way, which everybody spins it in their fan base. Bruce tweeted immediately, not going to be able to win this game without kicker.
No chance.
What are we doing?
No chance. Over before it starts. Over during the defensive introductions.
Unbelievable. I don't know what happened to Graham. He was able to kick in the second half.
He was up and hit the 25-yarder, and he's wailing in pain, and it's like, what is going on right now?
We hope he's okay, though, obviously. Shrags. Yeah, we do. Yeah, you do, Shrags. You hope he's okay. And
great kicker.
You hope he's okay. Yeah, you hope he gets healthy. And Shrags, obviously, his first feeling was, man, I hope he gets healthy for everything he's done for the Giants. When we stunk, Graham Gano was really the only good player we had.
That's right.
Yes, you did. You did. All right, on the other side, go ahead, Con.
Yeah, Shrakes, the Chiefs, not really a great showing for them either. Obviously, they won the game, get their first one of the year, but we were talking earlier about that schedule you mentioned. I'm now blanking on it, that has the murderers row, the Giants. Duh. And the Chiefs also do not have an easy schedule coming up. They go Ravens, Jags, Lions, Raiders, Commanders. Bunch of tough games. That's about 3-5, maybe 4-4, and in there, Rashee Rice gets back. Are we relying on Rashee Rice as people who have to watch the Chiefs to make them look good because it's looked awful? And what's going on with Kelsey? Why is this, connection that him and Mahomes have not going well? And then, of course, him and Andy Reid just kind of getting into it, not as big of a deal because they've done this before. But why doesn't it look good for Kansas City whatsoever?
Yeah, they don't have the weapons right now. I think that's fair to say. I mean, Spags' defense showed up last night, and they did their job. But gosh, you're watching these long 15-play, 16-play drives, settling for field goals. That's not the Chiefs we grew to know and really to appreciate as a team that's in prime time every single night. Now, this is a squad that gets back two very important people in Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, and you'd like to think, Tyquan Thornton making those two catches and having the third that was ruled an incomplete, but it was an absolutely incredible attempt. They now have three options and Hollywood Brown, and you don't have to rely on Kelsey and Noah Gray so much underneath. But the offense isn't what it was. And I think the Chiefs would tell you that. It's not ideal. I think what's interesting is they let DeAndre Hopkins walk. It's interesting because I think we knew they were going to have issues. They got Hopkins last year. He loved being a Chief. They go the distance, and they didn't sign him back. He's now in Baltimore making incredible plays, looking like the Hall of Famer that he might be. So I would say just hang tight, hold serve, and when you get Worthy and Rice back, let's judge the offense there. I mean, this is their best wide receiver. They lost to suspension a week before the season, and then their 1A, he goes down 3 plays into the NFL season. So hang tight there. I don't think a lot of teams would be able to look as good as they usually would without their top 2 receiving options on the field.
What an incredible play here by Patrick Mahomes after a horrendous play. That was the second time he'd thrown it backwards, but go ahead and making a tackle and stripping the ball at the same time on Okereke is a hell of a play there by Patrick Mahomes. But I think the reason why we all wonder if they're going to be okay, because it doesn't look good. Like last year, it didn't look good for a long time. They were winning. Now it's like, are they still winning? Are they still going to be able to win like that? And then bringing back their 2 weapons, I hope that's the case, because I think the Chiefs is still the Chiefs until I see that the Chiefs isn't the Chiefs. Watching them last night, though, I thought to myself a lot of different times, doesn't feel like the Chiefs is still the Chiefs, but I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you?
I believe.
You picked the stinky Giants.
Cover, we're doing spreads. Don't be an amateur.
Yeah.
Okay,
what is this, Bush League?
Yeah, what is this?
They would have covered with the kicker, D-Butch. Don't you forget about that.
Yeah, because Graham Gano hurts his groin, quad, hip.
Yes.
Good point.
Fair point. Russ straight off 450, I guess.
Russ threw the ball off the uprights.
On fourth
down, fourth quarter.
Wow.
Last hope. That's the guy's going down swinging.
Did you see a first down throw?
Yes.
Part of the first 15.
The first down throw into the tunnel was
That's 20 probably from everybody that's playing on Friday right there. That's 20 from everybody that's playing. Normally you're throwing from the 20. He did it from the 15 just as good. I think that's a no-doubter that hit the crossbar. Because every once in a while there is a little bit of a decision. Because did it hit the back part? That's kind of going up. Did it hit the upright or did it hit the crossbar? Feels like that one did hit the underside and kind of skip under there. And remember, you're throwing that to the crossbar. Remember, there's nobody going there, but that is where you're throwing it to.
4th and goal.
I'm sick of this Giants gimmick.
What?
I'm done with it. It sucks. We've been watching poopy Giants primetime football for what it feels like 10 years. It stinks. It should be the team and the Jets, I guess. They should play at 1 o'clock only.
Yes.
I get it. They have these massive markets. And
on
money.
Saturdays.
Yeah, on Saturdays. Boom. And there's money involved in all that stuff. The Jets and Giants should not be allowed to play primetime football for the rest of the time until something good happens for them.
CW.
Oh, yeah, throw them on the C-Dub. I love that idea. The teams of the CW, the Big Apple.
Oh, my God. And they would get big numbers because everybody in New York would watch.
Numbers.
And then the rest of us have no idea where that is.
Yeah, and then those teams can just slowly drift away. And you know what we do? We put them both on boats. And then they go to London. They become the London teams. And we reach
on CW.
Yeah.
And then the NFL can tell CW, congrats, you're the international team's home base here in the United States of America. CW's pulling New Jersey, New York, tri-state area in there. They're doing big numbers. And us,
we don't have to watch.
And
guess what becomes the team of New York, baby? The real team of New York.
Goodell.
The Buffalo Bills.
Goodell, get on it. Okay, last question. We know you have to go to work. We apologize, Shrey. Go ahead.
Good. I like this.
Schrags, early on, the Colts have kind of been the talk of the NFL. Hey, this might be the best team in the league. They're going to win the Super Bowl. After yesterday, I think it's maybe safe to say the Texans may stink. It just is what it is, unfortunately.
Jeez.
They may stink. They're 0-3. The Jags, on the other hand, I think we're still kind of curious about what they can do. Liam Cohen and, Trevor Lawrence, are these guys right for each other? Do they like each other? Do they get along? Can he get Trevor to the next step? Early on here with them at 2-1, do you think that the Jags could, potentially go on a little run at the end of the year? And then on the flip side, do the Texans stink?
Well, I would say neither C.J. Stroud nor Trevor Lawrence would have signed up for their first 3 weeks the way they have gone. Neither one has played well. The Brian Thomas-Trevor Lawrence connection doesn't look to be like it was last year. And Travis Hunter is barely making an impact on either side of the ball because some weeks he's playing corner and a little bit of receiver. Some weeks he's playing receiver and a little bit of a corner. Hasn't really looked like the value of a number 2 overall pick yet. And that said, they've got 2 wins. The locker room scenes have been electric afterwards. Shad Khan has basically proclaimed love to Liam Cohen after 2 different wins. Forever! And they're going for it like we're doing it. So you look at the standings, that's it. Houston made a very interesting change over the offseason. Now, we know trading Laramie Tunzel was a head scratcher for those who are like, well, this team is a squad that went to the divisional round two years in a row. Why would you trade your best lineman? But to get rid of Bobby Slowick, who in hindsight now was with C.J. Stroud as a rookie, as his offensive coordinator, was with Stroud as a second-year player, got him to the divisional round. That is a team that's like, we're one step away. We need to pull the ripcord out, and we're going to go and we're going to hire someone else. Now, Nick Caley is really respected around the league and is a very, very high, I guess you'd say, highly valued resource to a lot of people who have worked with him. I'm not knocking him yet. I'm just saying this connection hasn't looked good. Nick Chubb is suddenly the number one back, and obviously you're wondering, well, Nick Chubb hasn't been that guy in 2 years, coming off major injuries. Can he do it? And Nico Collins played great, but where else are we getting offense from on this team? So I would have serious concerns if I am the Houston Texans that the offense has just looked so inept through 3 weeks, when last year they were knocking on the doorstep a couple times the last 2 seasons, being in the Final Four of the AFC.
Yeah, they're saying he's C.J. Strouch.
What?
No.
Yeah, C-H at the end instead of D.
Jeez, like Grouch.
Yeah, they're saying C.J. Stro. No, that's what they're saying.
I saw
They're
Michael.
saying C.J. Strover.
Oh,
It's only his 3rd year. I think it's bullshit.
Well, I think that's why I saw Michael Kidd Gilchrist. I saw a lot of NBA memes with 1 year good play.
Hey, C.J.
That's not fair.
Come on, C.J. Still in there.
Like Jamal Murray.
I believe in him.
Jamal Murray
Good player.
Oh, no, yeah.
The lookalikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
I
guy
don't
with
love
the braids and
Yeah.
the CJ jersey, that needs to stop right now. Okay.
Right
That's
now.
not him. People are saying he's basically turned into, a 45-year-old, sack of shite.
Imposter. Did you see the Bieber imposter over there in Vegas?
Certainly.
Yes.
That was all.
People should have figured that one out.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that was pretty good.
I do. I think we do know.
Okay, so let's say you're with us. Okay, let's say we're doing a boys trip to Vegas. Shregs is there. Wheel and Dylan.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. This thing pops up on the stage, 2 a.m. You don't think we're thinking,
It's him.
yeah, immediately. I don't think anybody was
I
questioning.
like my peaches out of Georgia. Yeah, let's
yes,
go.
you do. Yes, you do. That is exactly what
Not
we're
a new
doing. Nobody
Bieber
said anything from the new album. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that Daisies.
Okay, yeah, me too, yeah.
UConn.
That song's really good. What's it
UConn's
sound
a
like?
banger.
What's it sound like?
You sing it?
I'm not going to go there.
Come on, dude.
No, you're kind of feeling it a little
I
bit.
don't know the words.
Yeah, well, you don't know the words. Okay, see, that's the problem. We all need to start learning the new stuff.
Yep.
Support Beeps through all of his different stages. Ain't that right, Foxy?
TikTok likes the new album. I know that for sure, but I don't know
Only
the
thing
album.
that matters.
Yes.
Hey, Beeps, keep doing it, dude.
Baby beeps.
I like the new album.
All right, we appreciate the hell out of you, Shregs. Have fun tonight, buddy.
Hey, I just want to say, you were talking about the dive, dude. Thank you for making sports fun. Thank you for being electric. Thank you for remembering this is supposed to be fun and happy. You bring joy, dude. We so appreciate it.
You're the man. That is very kind of you to say. You do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmy Award winner, Peter Schrager.
Yeah.